Have you noticed that your strength isn't what it used to be 10 years ago? That opening a jar of preserves now feels like an epic battle? Or that climbing stairs leaves your legs heavier than they should be? If you're over 60 and experiencing these situations, know that you're not alone. But what few people realize is that one of the biggest culprits behind this loss of muscle strength might start right at your breakfast table. Picture your muscles as a garden that needs watering every day. Just as plants wilt without water, your muscles begin to wilt, or technically speaking, enter catabolism, when they don't receive the right nutrients at the right time. And the most crucial moment of the day, first thing in the morning when you break the overnight fast of 8 to 12 hours. The first mistake sabotaging your muscle mass is simple yet devastating. You're starting the day with little or no protein. Think of it this way. During the night, your body works like a factory running nonstop, repairing tissues and maintaining vital functions. To do that, it borrows amino acids, the building blocks of protein, from your muscles. When you wake up, it's as if you have a debt that must be repaid immediately. Scientific studies show that adults over 60 need at least 25-30 grams of protein at breakfast to switch on the muscle building process known as protein synthesis. To give you an idea, that's roughly the amount in 4 whole eggs, or about 5 ounces, 150 grams, of Greek yogurt with granola. The reality, however, is that most people in this age group take in only 10 to 15 grams, less than half of what's needed. Let's be practical. If your breakfast is nothing more than bread with margarine, coffee with milk, and maybe a piece of fruit, you're supplying fuel for the day, but not the construction materials your muscles desperately require. It's like trying to build a house with bricks and cement, but no mortar to hold everything together. Practical tip for today: try adding at least one concentrated source of protein to your breakfast. It could be an extra hard-boiled egg, a slice of cheese, 2 tablespoons of cottage cheese, or even a handful of nuts. Small changes can make a huge difference in preserving your muscle strength. But this is only the first mistake that may be sabotaging your vitality without you even noticing. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal how a habit that seems healthy, drinking water during meals, might be interfering with the absorption of the essential nutrients your muscles need. How do you think water affects your muscles? If you said it hydrates them and aids in muscle function, you're absolutely right. But here's the second mistake that could be sabotaging your muscle mass. The moment you drink water might be keeping your muscles from getting the nutrients they desperately need. Pause for a moment and reflect. Are you one of those people who always has a glass of water next to your plate during meals? Or maybe you drink ice-cold water right after eating to help with digestion? If you answered yes, you're making a mistake that millions commit every day, unaware that they're literally washing nutrients away from their muscles. Let's think this through together. What happens when you pour water into a glass of sugar? It dilutes the sugar, right? The same principle applies to your stomach. When you drink large amounts of water during or immediately after meals, you're diluting the digestive juices, the natural acids in your stomach that are essential for breaking down proteins and converting them into small pieces your muscles can actually use. Imagine your stomach as an old-fashioned pressure cooker like the one your grandmother used. To cook food properly, it needed just the right pressure and temperature. When you add too much water, it's as if you open the cooker's valve. The pressure drops, efficiency falls, and the final result isn't the same. Your muscles end up receiving only a fraction of the amino acids they should. Now tell me, have you ever noticed that heavy feeling in your stomach after meals? Or maybe that overwhelming drowsiness after lunch? These can be signs that your digestion isn't running at peak efficiency, and one reason could be excess liquids during meals. Science shows that gastric acid reaches its ideal concentration about 30 minutes after we start eating. When we dilute that acid with water, we directly interfere with our body's ability to extract nutrients from food. It's like trying to dissolve an effervescent tablet in the ocean. It simply doesn't work the same. Can you imagine how many protein-rich meals you might have wasted over the years because of this seemingly harmless habit? Think about that fish or chicken fillet you ate yesterday, believing you were doing your muscles a favor. If you drank water during the meal, a significant portion of those proteins may have passed through your system without being properly utilized. Today's action step: try drinking water at least 30 minutes before meals and wait at least 2 hours afterward before consuming large amounts again. During the meal, if you feel thirsty, take only small sips to moisten your mouth. You'll be amazed at the difference in your digestion and energy after eating. But wait until you discover the third mistake, one tied to one of the most important times of day for muscle building. And most people do exactly the opposite of what they should during this critical period. Before I reveal the third mistake that's sabotaging your muscle strength, I need you to pause for a moment and be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt your legs tremble while walking downstairs? Or noticed that you have to push off the arms of a chair to stand up? These aren't just signs of aging, they're warning signals your body is sending you. Think about this. When was the last time you carried all the grocery bags in one trip without making several passes? Or opened that jar of olives without asking for help? If these situations are becoming harder and harder, you're experiencing something doctors call sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass that affects 1 in 3 people over 60. Did you know that after age 60, we lose between 6% and 11% of our muscle mass every decade if we don't take action? To put that in perspective, imagine that at 60, you can climb 2 flights of stairs with no trouble, just a bit slower than before. By 70, you might need to stop halfway to catch your breath. By 80, you may rely on the handrail and climb 1 step at a time. That's the difference between keeping your freedom to come and go or becoming a prisoner of your own body's limitations. Now answer me. Have you ever been afraid of falling when you get out of bed at night, or felt insecure in the shower because your legs no longer feel as steady? These fears are not unfounded. Loss of muscle mass is directly linked to a higher risk of falls, which are the leading cause of fractures in people over 65. But the risks go far beyond falls. Weak muscles mean less stability for your spine, which can lead to back pain that limits your daily activities. They also mean your body is less able to control blood sugar because muscles are major consumers of glucose. And there's something even more concerning. Weakened muscles are associated with a less efficient immune system, leaving you more vulnerable to infections. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you had to rely on others for simple tasks like opening a water bottle or standing up from the couch, or if you needed a cane or walker to get around? These aren't distant possibilities. They are real consequences of untreated muscle loss. What's most frightening is that all of this happens silently. It's like a bank account that keeps getting debited little by little without you noticing, until one day there isn't enough balance to cover your basic needs. Your muscles work the same way. You notice the loss only when it's already advanced. But here's the good news. You have the power to reverse this situation. And that brings us to the third dietary mistake that is needlessly accelerating this muscle loss. This mistake occurs during the most critical period for muscle recovery and building, precisely when your body most needs nutrients to repair tissue. It's a time of day when most people do exactly the opposite of what they should, missing a precious opportunity to strengthen their muscles. Can you guess the most important time for muscle building? It's at night, while you sleep, that your body works intensively to repair and strengthen muscles. But the third mistake you're probably making is completely sabotaging this natural recovery process. The third mistake, sabotaging your muscle mass, happens when you least expect it, during the night, while you sleep peacefully. And the worst part is that you probably believe you're doing the right thing. Let me ask you, what time do you usually eat dinner? If you're like most people over 60, you probably dine between 6:00 p.m. and 7:00 p.m., right? After that, following the old advice to avoid heavy food before bed, you go without protein until breakfast the next morning, around 7 or 8 a.m. You've just created a 12 to 14 hour protein fast. Now imagine this. How would you feel if you had to work 12 straight hours with no fuel, no materials, consuming only your own reserves? Your muscles go through exactly that every night. Here's what really happens while you sleep. Your body enters what scientists call nighttime maintenance mode. It's like a renovation crew working on your house overnight. They need to repair the day's damage or reinforce weakened structures and prepare everything for the next day. But to get the job done, they need building materials, protein in the case of your muscles. The third mistake, sabotaging your muscle mass, happens when you least expect it, during the night while you sleep peacefully. And the worst part is that you probably believe you're doing the right thing. Let me ask you, what time do you usually eat dinner? If you're like most people over 60, you probably dine between 6:00 p.m. and 7:00 p.m., right? After that, following the old advice to avoid heavy food before bed, you go without protein until breakfast the next morning, around 7 or 8 a.m. You've just created a 12 to 14 hour protein fast. Now imagine this. How would you feel if you had to work 12 straight hours with no fuel, no materials, consuming only your own reserves? Your muscles go through exactly that every night. Here's what really happens while you sleep. Your body enters what scientists call nighttime maintenance mode. It's like a renovation crew working on your house overnight. They need to repair the day's damage, reinforce weakened structures, and prepare everything for the next day. But to get the job done, they need building materials, protein in the case of your muscles. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a strange, uncomfortable hunger? Or noticed that you feel more tired than you should after a full 8 hours of sleep? These may be signs that your body is cannibalizing its own muscles to secure the amino acids it needs for vital functions. During the 6 to 8 hours of deep sleep, your body produces growth hormone. Yes, even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, you still make this hormone. But it can work efficiently only if it has the bricks needed to build and repair muscle. Without protein available, it's like having an excellent architect but no construction materials. Science shows something fascinating. At night, your body needs protein to produce antibodies, repair tissues, and keep the heart, liver, and kidneys functioning. When there isn't enough dietary protein available, your body activates a survival mechanism called muscle proteolysis. literally breaking down muscle tissue to release essential amino acids. It's as if your body is forced to dismantle part of the house to get materials to keep the electrical system running. You're probably wondering, but I always heard we shouldn't eat before bed. And you're right, we shouldn't have heavy, greasy meals before sleeping, but a small amount of easy-to-digest protein is completely different. Studies show that people over 60 who consume a small portion of protein about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime can maintain their muscle mass more effectively. We're talking about something as simple as a cup of Greek yogurt, a warm glass of milk, or even a few slices of turkey breast. The solution to this problem is within your reach and far simpler than you imagined, isn't it? But wait until you discover the fourth mistake. This one is tied to something you probably do every day thinking it's healthy, yet it actually creates an inflammatory environment that prevents your muscles from recovering properly. Do you consider yourself someone who doesn't eat sweets? Maybe you've even stopped putting sugar in your coffee, or you avoid desserts altogether. If you answered yes, I need to tell you something that may shock you. You're probably consuming the equivalent of 15 to 20 teaspoons of sugar each day without even realizing it. The fourth mistake, sabotaging your muscle mass, has to do with the hidden sugars lurking in the foods you think are healthy. And here's the problem. These sugars are creating a state of chronic inflammation in your body that literally prevents your muscles from repairing and growing. Let me ask you, do you often eat whole grain bread for breakfast? Or maybe you drink that fresh squeezed orange juice you press yourself? How about that fruit yogurt that claims to be a protein source? If you regularly consume any of these, you're feeding a silent inflammatory process that is corroding your muscles from the inside out. Here's what happens. When you take in excess sugar, whether refined or natural, your body releases a cascade of inflammatory substances called cytokines. Picture these cytokines as tiny, irritated soldiers rushing through your bloodstream, attacking not only invaders, but also your own tissues. Your muscles become a battlefield where, instead of construction and repair, there is destruction and deterioration. Have you ever noticed that after eating something sweet or drinking a soda, you feel bloated or weighed down? Or perhaps you've observed that your joints feel stiffer after certain meals? These are signs that your body is battling inflammation triggered by blood sugar spikes. Here's what many people don't know. Chronic inflammation not only blocks the building of new muscle, it also speeds up the breakdown of the muscle you already have. It's like trying to build a house during an earthquake. No matter how hard you work, destruction happens faster than construction. Hidden sugars are everywhere. That tomato sauce you put on your salad, it can contain up to 4 grams of sugar per tablespoon. The whole grain bread you think is healthy, your body converts it into sugar almost as quickly as it would candy. Even the natural fruit yogurt mentioned earlier can have more sugar than a soft drink. Can you imagine how many years of silent inflammation your muscles may have endured because of these disguised sugars? Think of all the times you chose what you believed was the healthier option, unaware that you were feeding the very process that weakens your musculature. Scientific research is clear. People with high levels of inflammation in their blood lose muscle mass 40% faster than those with low levels. That means controlling inflammation isn't just important, it's essential for preserving your strength and independence. But here's the good news. Once you identify and eliminate those hidden sources of sugar, your body begins to reduce inflammation within days. It's like extinguishing a fire that had been silently consuming your muscle reserves. The trick is to become a food detective. Start reading labels and watch for sugar's aliases: corn syrup, fructose, dextrose, maltose, invert sugar, molasses. They're all code for the same thing, sugar that's inflaming your muscles. Now you may be wondering about carbohydrates in general, and that leads us to the fifth mistake, which is even more subtle. It concerns the timing of the carbs you eat. Most people do this completely backward, causing insulin spikes at the least favorable moments and missing the windows of opportunity to effectively nourish their muscles. After discovering hidden sugars, you're probably rethinking your carbs. And that's exactly what brings us to the fifth mistake, perhaps the most dangerous of all. It's tied to when you consume carbohydrates during the day. You're likely doing the exact opposite of what you should, taking in most of your carbs at the worst possible time. This creates uncontrolled blood sugar spikes that not only block muscle formation, but can also contribute to cardiovascular problems, conditions that heighten the risk of more serious complications like stroke. But don't worry, later in this video you'll learn exactly how to adjust this eating habit in a simple, effective way. The fifth mistake, maybe the most devastating, you're eating carbohydrates at the times that hurt your muscles the most. Do you eat bread for breakfast? Pasta for dinner? Congratulations, you've hit the 2 worst moments possible. In the morning, when your muscles are starving for protein, you feed them sugar. At night, when your body should be in repair mode, you trigger an insulin surge. It's like watering plants during the hottest part of the day, wasting resources and stressing the system. But there's an even more common sixth mistake that magnifies all the others. It's something you probably do several times a day without realizing the damage it's causing. Here is the sixth and final mistake. You're not pairing protein with carbohydrates. You eat plain bread, fruit on its own, pasta without meat. The result? Uncontrolled sugar spikes that not only speed up muscle loss, but also force your pancreas to work nonstop, churning out excess insulin to quickly lower the sugar unleashed by the lightning-fast digestion of pure carbs, while the surplus glucose scrapes and stiffens the walls of your blood vessels from the constant friction of sugar circulating at very high concentrations. Do you remember each of the mistakes I've presented? Let's quickly recap them, and more important, how to correct them. Error 1. Too little protein at breakfast. Start the day with 2 eggs or 5 Oz, 150 gr of Greek yogurt, non-negotiable. Error 2. Water during meals. Drink 30 minutes before or 2 hours after. During the meal, only small sips. Error 3. Overnight protein fast. Have a glass of milk or some yogurt. 1 hour before bedtime. Error 4. Hidden sugars. Read labels. Avoid corn syrup, fructose, dextrose. If it contains more than 5 dr of sugar per serving, skip it. Error 5. Carb timing. Consume carbohydrates only after exercise or physical activity. The rest of the day, focus on proteins and vegetables. Error 6. Carbs by themselves. Always pair them. Apple with nuts, bread with egg, pasta with chicken. I know changes can seem difficult at first, but every small adjustment you make today is an investment in your independence tomorrow. You have the power to reverse this process and feel strong and confident again. Sarcopenia is not a sentence. It's a challenge you can overcome. Your muscles have an incredible capacity to recover. Even at 60, 70, or 80, they're just waiting for you to give them the nutrients and care they deserve. If this information was helpful, please share it with others who also deserve to maintain their strength and vitality. Leave a comment telling us which of these mistakes you identified with most. Your experience could help someone facing the same situation. Together, we can help more people age with health, strength, and dignity. See you next time.